welcome back to another episode of What's Gucci
with your host, Dollar Sign. Cha-ching!
What's Gucci, a documentary show brought to you by the good folks at Dirty Dot Productions and Strictly Streets Entertainment. On today's episode of What's Gucci, we will be discussing the moon. No, not your friend's moon, or the moon you see when your little cousin drops his drawers. I am going to be discussing the origin of our planet Earth's moon and a little about other moons that can be found within our solar system. I wasn't one of those kids that grew up thinking, oh, I want to be an astronaut, or I would love to walk on the moon, or anything like that. But today, we're going to be talking about things of that nature. I mean, we're not going to say specifically, oh, we're going to go take a walk on the moon, or we're going to see how it feels to walk on the moon. Anybody could actually feel like how it walks on the moon. All you got to do is jump into, let's say, about 6 feet of water. Hopefully you're not 6 feet yourself. And try walking. That's pretty much the same as walking on the moon. But besides that, we'll talk about how the moon came to be. We want to get to know the moon. I mean, people excavate the earth, right? And we don't know much about the earth except we developed a periodic table of elements which is supposed to represent every chemical that is in existence on Earth. Now, if we want to do the same thing for the moon, we would have to send astronauts to the moon and collect rock samples and then start categorizing it in a specific manner that will outline what element each rock represents. But that's just like a whole other topic, you know. That's like geology I think geology. But we're talking about the moon. We're going to talk about the moon and how its behavior and interactions with the earth. And we're also going to talk about how the moon is just like some kind of asteroid that seems to like to follow Earth around in space. Here's a fun fact. The planet Saturn is considered to be an outer planet because it orbits the sun outside of the asteroid belt. Saturn's moon was named Janus, and its size is not even half the size of Earth's moon. Saturn's moon, Janus, orbits just outside Saturn's main rings. But enough about the planet Saturn. Here's a fun fact. Scientists have taken the pleasure of naming moons such as Janus, Saturn's moon, Europa, one of Jupiter's many moons, but have not given a name to Earth's moon. If you were to name Earth's moon, what would that name be? Here's a fun fact. Recent exploratory evidence has discovered water, frozen water, on the moon. I guess this evidence of the existence of water on the moon gives people the impression humans can inhabit that dead world. Shaking my head. Also, there is no way in the physical world, in the physical universe, better yet, there is no physical way, it is physically impossible for Earth's moon to be caught in Earth's gravitational pull. Allow me to explain. For example, take all the satellites that orbit the Earth. Those satellites are far closer to the Earth than the moon is. Here is another example. People take jetliner flights into the upper atmosphere in order to experience weightlessness or anti-gravity. Now, those people who take those airline flights into the upper atmosphere are even closer to Earth than the satellites. Now, if people who are closer to Earth than the satellites are capable of escaping Earth's gravitational pull, explain to me how the moon, which is approximately 239,000, is it 239,000? Not 249,000? Okay. 249,000 miles away from the Earth. Go figure. What is seen here is a diagram of the moon. Later, I will give you a 360-degree panoramic view of that diagram. Scientists have hypothesized 4 ways in which the moon could have originated. The first hypothesis stipulates the moon formulating in a whole other part of our solar system, and then some kind of how was captured by Earth's gravitational pull. You know that theory, somebody had to have shot holes all in that. Now the second hypothesis is called co-accretion. You're gonna have to look that one up in the dictionary. Just kidding. This is the assumption that both the Earth and the moon formed from the exact same space dust. But sorry to disappoint, that theory was also discredited. The third theory is probably a well-known theory. It's called fission. From this argument, we are given the idea that the Earth spun a piece of itself off, and of course that piece became our moon. And of course, that theory too was found to be inconclusive. Now the fourth and final hypothesis of how the moon originated is said to have been from a giant impact between the Earth and some other planet. Wow, that planet would have had to have been about the size of Mars, and all the debris that's scattered about from the collision between those two planets fused together to form our moon. Scientists have concluded that this argument may hold some water. It might have a little validity. The little we know about the moon's interior is inferred, but what we do know from the study of lunar rocks and lunar quakes is the moon's crust is approximately 60 kilometers deep beneath the Maria and deeper beneath the highlands. Evidence of a metallic core is uncertain, but if one does exist, it can be no more than 600 to 900 kilometers across. The moon circles the earth every 27.3 days at an average distance from Earth at approximately 384,000 kilometers or 30 Earth diameters. Could you imagine having less hours during the day, but having more days throughout the year? I don't know about you, but I think that would be a real pain. That would just mean more days to go to school. The Earth is 81 times more massive than the moon. Because of the Earth's tidal pull on the moon now rotates once around its axis for every rotation it makes around Earth. That explains why we always see the same side of the moon. The density of the moon is 3.34 grams per cubic centimeter, which amounts to approximately 60% of Earth's density. Earth's density is 5.52 grams per cubic centimeter. As the Earth's rotation slows, the moon must move away from the Earth in order to conserve the spin and orbital motion of the Earth-Moon system. I don't know about you, but I would feel really weird if we didn't look up in the sky at night and see the moon there. But scientists have discovered the moon is moving away from the Earth at a pace of approximately 3.8 centimeters per year. The moon's gravity is 1/6 that of Earth's gravity. So as we went around the diagram of the moon, you were able to see one side is way more eroded than the other. I can't be quoted on this because I'm not entirely sure, but I believe the side of the moon that is the most eroded is the side of the moon we don't see at night. The side of the moon that isn't eroded is the side of the moon human beings on Earth get to see every night when the moon is high up in the sky. Because the moon's gravity is 1/6 that of Earth's gravity, my weight on the moon is approximately 31 pounds. Given that information, are you capable of calculating my weight on Earth? Okay. For all you mathematicians out there, I'll repeat this. The moon's gravity is 1/6 that of Earth's gravity. And my weight on the moon is approximately 31 pounds. If you guessed or calculated 186 pounds, you're correct. Give yourself a pat on the back. As we all know, the moon is a dead planet. It has no atmosphere, no water. Well, so far as we know. Don't quote me on that. Scientists are making discoveries every day. As far as we know, life as we know it here on Earth cannot be supported on the moon. The mountain building and erosive forces that shape the surface of the Earth do not exist on the moon. Instead, the surface of the moon has been shaped largely due to impacts. From Earth, we can see only one side of the moon. But here, you can investigate even the hidden side of the moon. The low, flat, dark areas on the moon are considered to be Maria. They are also considered to be lunar seas. The bright, rugged regions of the moon are called highlands that formed more than 4.3 billion years ago. The moon's surface has been shaped by the relentless bombardment of meteorites, comets, and asteroids. Apollo 15 astronauts David Scott and James Irwin excavated this sample of basalt from the moon. This excavation took place on August 1st, 1971. Basalt is a lava produced by an eruption that occurred on the moon more than 3 billion years ago. This is basalt from the moon. Apollo 15 astronauts were the very first to drive a lunar rover vehicle. How special is that? That's almost like the equivalent of driving the very first automobile here on Earth. Let's say what they did on the moon, the Apollo 15 astronauts, will be equivalent to the first person who pilots. Do you say pilot or drive a flying car? I mean, how does that work? Let's go with pilot. Yeah. But it was then, during that first rover driving experience, when they collected that sample of basalt, as well as other samples. I mean, it wasn't like they knew basalt was there, so they were going to the moon just to collect basalt, you know. It was kind of like a rock collecting expedition, if you ask me. The panoramic photo you see is a depiction of the lunar rover on the moon's surface. You can see David Scott setting out on foot. You can see the shadow of James Irwin, the photographer. This is an image of the crescent Earth over the crater Humboldt. This is an image of the astronauts returning to the command module, ascending from 111 kilometers above the moon's surface to its rendezvous with the command module. The lunar module, Orion, is framed by the crater Sherbert B. Yeah, it's called Sherbert, I know. It's not ice cream. You see the size of that crater? The diameter extends 54 kilometers. Earth's moon is the 5th largest moon in our solar system, with a diameter of approximately 1/4 that of Earth's. It is unusually large compared to its host. Saturn's moon, Janus, orbits just outside Saturn's main rings. Most of the rocks on the moon are older than 3.2 billion years, and some date to its very beginning, about 4.5 billion years ago. There are few rocks that are that old on Earth, and none of them date back to Earth's origin. Basalt is a lava produced by an eruption that occurred on the moon approximately more than 3 billion years ago. The white crystals are the mineral plagioclase. Plagioclase. I bet you can't say that word 3 times fast. Plagioclase. And the green pale ones are the mineral called clinopyroxene. Clinopyroxene? I mean, who comes up with these names? Both are in a finer grained matrix of these and other minerals. But today we talked a lot about different things, how the moon interacts with Earth and the planet Saturn. We learned about 4 different hypotheses of how the moon originated. We got to see a couple diagrams of the moon, because actually from Earth we only see one side of the moon. In order for us to even fathom what the other side of the moon looks like, we had to send some kind of camera or telescope. Even a telescope sitting on Earth, we cannot see the other side of the moon. We have to actually be on the other side of the moon in order to see it. We learned different names for different structures on the moon. We also learned that the moon really cannot be a planet like the one we live on. It just doesn't have the necessary ingredients. How did you like our discussion for today? Hopefully you enjoyed it. I would love for you to come back next time. We'll have more to talk about, and it won't be about the same subject. I enjoyed learning about the moon. Hopefully you did too. Thank you for watching our show. Sorry we have to go, but time's up. And that concludes today's show of What's Gucci? Don't miss the next episode of What's Gucci? You'll see us here next episode. Same time, same station. Until then, bye for now. And remember, always keep it Gucci.
Good.